Howdy folks, hope everybody doing real good. Beef and taters on the menu this evening. This is one of these cooks that work real good for a weeknight meal, and there's some left over usually for lunch the next day. And the good thing about this, it's a very simple recipe. You can make it with whatever you got on hand. If you don't have some of this stuff, you can obviously leave it out. The premise of it is taters and some beef. I've got 2 russet potatoes here I've went through and rounded out. They're not too thin and not too thick. You want them to be thick enough so they don't fall apart. We're going to get them taters in a skillet with some oil and butter and get them frying. Going to season them up with some Cajan Creole seasoning, some chives in there. And right when they're done finished cooking, we're going to make up a little bit of a cheese sauce. I've got some jarred Cheese Wizz here. You can use Velvetta, even probably shredded cheese. You're going to need some milk as well. Once we get them taters cheesed up pretty good, we'll get them out of the skillet, drop this pound of ground beef in. We're going to saute it with a small diced up onion, hit it with a little bit of garlic, a few other seasonings here and there, some tomato sauce. We'll get it poured on top of the cheesy taters, top it with some mozzarella, get it in the oven for a little bit. It's pretty easy to do, and like I said, you can adjust whatever you want to use here by what you got on hand. Let's get to cooking. Some high smoke point cooking oil in this skillet. It don't look like it wants to pour out this bottle too much. A little uncooperative. I'll put me a couple of tablespoons of butter in here and let that melt. Let this get hot. In the meantime, I'm going to drain these taters off and get them dried a little bit. We're just going to toss these around periodically until they get nice and golden brown and softened up real good. And then we'll get us some seasoning on here. Make them extra good. Alright, these taters are softened up pretty good. They're starting to get a little color on them. I'll put a little bit of Cajan and Creole seasoning on here. Sprinkle a little paprika in. Some black pepper cracked in. Gonna let these fry up here another minute or two. Let those Cajan seasonings bloom out real nice. Make sure everything's mixed up pretty good and everything's getting happy. I'm gonna sprinkle some chive in here. This is a freeze-dried chive. I'm gonna pour some milk in. We're going to get us some of this Cheese Wizz in here. Just kind of get this Cheese Wizz melted and incorporate it. Got some nice little cheese sauce coming together here. Just try to get everything coated a little bit. Oh yeah, that smells delish. If you don't have canned Cheese Wizz, you can use some Velvetta, American cheese. You can drop you some shredded cheddar cheese in here. It just ain't going to be as smooth, but Velvetta and this Cheese Wizz works real good for this. Sprinkle a little bit of Parmesan in here. Looking pretty good. We're going to get our cheesy taters right in the bottom of this little old pie pan. Let's get us some meat to go on top of these taters. Now obviously I cooked them taters in a Teflon coated nonstick. You definitely want to use a nonstick skillet because you're making up that cheese sauce. If you don't use something that's non-stick, it's going to be a mess. We got a pound of hamburger in here. This is regular old 70/30. So I'm going to have to drain the fat off of it when it's done browning. Get some onion in here. Get some garlic in here. Do about 2 teaspoons minced garlic. A little bit of oregano. 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon. A little bit of paprika. Get some pepper on it. Yep. Salt. About a teaspoon of salt. Get this tomato sauce in. That's about a cup. Let some of that tomato sauce evaporate just a touch. We got the oven coming up to 350. We're going to get this on top of them taters and into the oven. Get this finished up. Got that tomato sauce cooked down there pretty good. Let's get it on top of the potatoes. Get us some mozzarella cheese sprinkled on. Get that in the oven about 10 to 15 minutes. This baked for about 10 minutes, and then I put it under the broiler for about a minute. Just make sure that cheese was real good and melted and browned up just a touch. I'm going to sprinkle a little parsley on here. I'm going to let this cool a few minutes and then we'll slice it up and get it on a plate. Get this meat and tater pie sliced up here and get some supper on the table. Let's Let's get us a bite here and see what it's talking about. I definitely want some of these taters. Beef and cheese. Boy, I tell you, that is pretty darn good. That little sauce put in that hamburger really complements those cheesy potatoes for some reason. Works real good. That's it, folks. A meat and potato pie. Pretty easy to do. Makes a great weekday night meal. Till next time, peace.